This week on Vallo News, COVID cases on the rise. UM's active student cases more than doubling over the last week, as the US continues to see record-setting COVID cases. And now, good news on the second COVID vaccine. When Dr. Fauci thinks the US could start returning to normal.
We're not going to turn it on and off, going from where we are to completely normal. It's going to be a gradual accrual of more normality.
Plus, what's it going to be? Certainly a college night like never before. What major changes UM is making to its homecoming tradition in spring because of the pandemic.
The University of Vallo men's basketball team is adjusting to COVID-19 protocols for their upcoming season. Find out more up next on Vallo News.
And Santa Claus is coming to town, when you can see the city of Montevallo's Christmas parade. Vallo News starts right now. Hello and welcome to Vallo News. I'm Ryan McGarty. Thanks so much for watching. We begin with a look at an increase in COVID-19 cases here on campus. According to UM's COVID dashboard, there are 16 active student cases. That's more than double the number from a week ago. 4 students are in isolation on campus so far. So far, UM reported 125 positive student cases this semester. According to the dashboard, there are no active employee cases. COVID cases in Alabama continue to rise. There's a total of more than 219,000 confirmed and probable COVID cases in our state. That's according to the Alabama Department of Public Health. There have been more than 3,200 COVID-related deaths in Alabama. Nationally, there are now more than 11 million COVID cases in the US. More than 245,000 Americans have died. New today, drug maker Moderna says its coronavirus vaccine is nearly 95% effective. That's according to early clinical trial data released this morning. Moderna plans to seek FDA authorization for the immunization after more safety data is gathered later this month. Of the 15,000 participants who received the vaccine, only 5 contracted COVID-19 and none became seriously ill.
By the end of this year, we said that in the United States, we expect to have 20 million doses. And so I think by the end of the year, hopefully, we could start to vaccinate people.
This is the second vaccine in the U.S. with a high success rate. The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says vaccinations could start in mid-December, and that we could start to see a return to normal as soon as April of 2021.
So there is light at the end of the tunnel. Help is coming, and that should, I believe, motivate people to just say we're going to double down and do this uniformly.
Dr. Fauci also spoke about the transition of power during the worsening pandemic, saying it would be better if government health officials could start working with the incoming Biden-Harris administration. Meanwhile, President Trump is doubling down on his belief he may be able to win the election. In a series of tweets Sunday, Trump said Biden won the election because it was rigged. The president also tweeted that he is not conceding. Twitter flagged Trump's tweets, saying his claims about election fraud are disputed. National, state, and private election officials are contradicting Trump's conspiracy theories about voter fraud. The Department of Homeland Security says the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. Fewer people are planning to travel for Thanksgiving this year because of COVID. According to AAA Travel, more Americans are planning to stay home. They estimate a 10% drop in travel, and only about 50 million Americans will travel for the Thanksgiving holiday. That's a drop from 55 million in 2019. But as pandemic numbers continue to surge, AAA expects that number to be even lower. They say anyone who is traveling during the holiday should plan ahead and know the COVID restrictions at your destination. And remember, the university will transition to remote classes after the Thanksgiving break. Although all classes will be virtual, campus will still be open to students through the end of the semester. UM is being recognized as one of the best colleges in the state for its mix of online and on-campus degree programs. EdSmart.com ranked UM as one of the top 5 higher education institutions in Alabama. The ranking was based on UM's affordability, student satisfaction, and student outcomes. UM's significantly expanded its online course offerings due to the pandemic. Big changes are coming to UM's College Night homecoming tradition. Due to the pandemic, the Purples and Golds will compete as one united side. According to a press release, side leaders will review previously unused College Night scripts to create 3 original songs, 3 dance scenes, and 3 scripted scenes. College Night is also moving from February to March to give students time for COVID re-entry testing and to create a safer rehearsal schedule. UM's virtual College Night will be held from March 10th through the 13th. UM's men's basketball team is back on the hardwood after the pandemic delayed the start of their season this semester. Vallo Vision News reporter Kylie Lloyd talked to head coach Danny Young about the pandemic-related changes for the upcoming season.
The University of Montevallo men's basketball team had their first team practice last week since COVID-19 shut everything down in March. All spring sports got their seasons cut short, but luckily the basketball team was able to finish their season before the pandemic.
Well, our season was done, but we still wanted to work out and get to know the new people because they was going to come on visit. So it was kind of frustrating, but we got through it.
The team finished last season with an overall record of 12-17 and a conference record of 8-12. How do they plan to make this year better than last? Head coach Danny Young gave a few insights on how they will succeed.
Hopefully we have a lot more bodies than we had last year. Last year we had a couple broke feet, torn ACL before the season started. Another guy came with a knee injury when he got here, so we didn't have very many scholarship players last year to play with.
This upcoming basketball season will look unlike any other, with COVID restrictions of possible fan reduction, more game day balls available, and more.
Gosh, there's so many things. The sanitizing. It looks like we're going to play a mirror schedule with the men and women. If the men are at home, the women will be away, and vice versa. So there's going to be some changes this year.
The Falcons will play their home games here in Trustmark Arena, hoping for a season opener in December or January.
Well, I'm excited we get to play. You know, they wanted to shut it down, but I'm grateful we get to play. Hopefully win the championship.
Reporting for Vallo Vision News, I'm Carly Lloyd.
You can see more about this story on our website, vallovisionnews.wordpress.com. The pandemic isn't dampening the city of Montevallo's Christmas spirit. The city is hosting its annual Christmas parade on Thursday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. The parade route starts at the intersection of Wadsworth and Main Streets and will end at Shelby Street. Montevallo Elementary School will host a food truck festival at the school after the parade. City officials encourage everyone to follow all state and local health guidelines while celebrating. And finally this week, Thanksgiving isn't here yet, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in New York City. The Rockefeller Center now has its iconic Christmas tree. This year's tree is a 75-foot Norway spruce weighing in at 11 tons. It will be decked out in 50,000 LED lights and topped with a star covered in 3 million crystals. The tree will be lit for the first time on December 2nd. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. That's all the time we have for today's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week for our final broadcast of 2020.